Hello everybody, this is Doc Eon with another first look for you. This time, a first look at a new miniatures wargame called Nemesis. This just arrived in the mail today. My stuff for backing their Kickstarter consists of one rulebook and two starter sets. They're called, well, not starter sets, they're called core sets for two different armies. I think they're called core sets because they had some starter sets as well, which were just a handful of minis, but the core sets contain quite a lot, as you will see. Now, in shipping, these boxes were dinged up some. Well, they were squashed because they were not packaged in any outside boxes. They were just wrapped in paper and a lot of packing tape, and so they got crushed in transport. Now, this doesn't matter very much because I'm just going to toss these boxes anyway once I've gotten the miniatures out. And as far as I know, the miniatures themselves are fine. We will see when we unbox them. Now, because this is a whole new game, I'm going to split this first impressions video up into two parts. For the first part, I will take a look at the miniatures themselves, because that's easy. I just have to take them out of the boxes and show them to you. For the second part, I will read through the rules and give you my impressions of how they might work, but that's gonna take a couple of days, so you'll have to wait a little while for that video. Which two factions? I got two factions because I thought, well, partially because I thought both of them looked cool, and partially because I thought this is a game nobody else is going to have. If I want to get somebody else to play it with me, I probably need minis for two sides. Now, in practice, I'm not going to get around to playing this anytime soon, but oh well. The two factions I got, the first one are called No Vivos, or translated to English, Not Alive, which is a funny way of saying undead. And, well, you can see here on the side all the guys that are in the crew. There's a picture on the back showing you how much stuff you get in the box. And including one really huge miniature. These are called juggers. Well, each faction has one jugger, which I suppose is short for juggernaut. And this was one of the selling points of the Kickstarter campaign, but I didn't get this for these guys. I got them because of the normal sort of undead minions that could be useful, you know, in other contexts as well. As for the second, these are called the Thousand Faces Cult, or I call them the Cult of the Topless Barbarians. With rocks growing out of their skin. And some of them seem to be werewolves as well. Though their jugger is a big rock monster. Some of the others seem to be some sort of half-beasts or transformed kind of beings. Well, I'm going to open these up and let you have a closer look at the minis themselves. Okay, to begin with, I've taken a closer look at the Not Alive faction. You can see here we have Ziploc bags with various groups of minis in them, including the big jugger, which is resin, not metal. And we also get the stat cards. Now, stat cards they have a big picture on one side and on the other the actual stats. There's a couple of things to notice here. First off, the stat line is not translated. In the rule book, it tells you what each of these abbreviations means. For example, PU is aim, FU is strength. So they've translated the words, but not the actual abbreviations. They haven't changed the abbreviations for the English version. because this is a Spanish company, by the way. The special rules, these are only listed by name. They are described in the rule book. Here's the thing though, for some models they need an extra card. For example here, this is Lady Cynthia. She has the Haunted Violin, which is not in the rulebook. This is on a special card, so you need 2 cards at hand when you're playing the game. And for this faction, only a few of the minis have this need for 2 cards, but in the other one, quite a lot have them. So I'm wondering if it wouldn't have been better to like have a smaller picture, for example, just on this quarter of the page, and then print these back to back. Or maybe have them like fold-out cards, like the old first edition Malifaux. On the other hand, this big illustration is useful, because if we look at some of the actual minis, I have opened up one blister pack here with a few of what you might consider the hero minis. For example, here we have Lady Cynthia, the violinist. What you need the pictures for is that there are no descriptions, there are no instructions for how to assemble them. And most of the minis are not one piece. Most of them have at least one part that needs to be attached, like this arm with the bow. And this is this allows for more interesting sculpts than if you cast everything in one piece. On the other hand, you have to figure out how everything fits, and sometimes it's not obvious. So if you look at, say, where's this dude? Where is he? There he is, the summoner. So you can tell this is mostly one piece, and he has this back piece that goes on here, right? And then we have this really odd dude. If I didn't have the picture, if I didn't have this picture of him, the librarian, I would never know, oh, that these extra arms are supposed to go on him, because he's got 4 arms. And this thing, he's got a book for a head, which is interesting. I would never have guessed unless I had the picture. I have still to figure out what this head is for. This head was in the same baggie as these 3 characters, but it doesn't seem to be the head for any of them. Maybe it's an optional head. Maybe you can do the librarian with a normal human head, or the book head. I don't know. But if you look at the quality of the miniatures, the casting is fine. There's a minimum amount of flash and mold lines. On these 3, I only really saw a mold line here on his hood. On some of the others I saw, I think, where did they go? I think I saw, yeah, here. On this guy there's some flashing around the edges, but it's easy enough to clean off. The sculpting is okay. It's not the best I've seen. I'm a little concerned about the face of this girl here, but on the other hand, she's undead or something like that, so who knows. Let's see if we can zoom in. I'm not sure if you can see the detail. Yes, there. Yeah, It's not too bad. It's reasonable. Her nose is a bit lopsided. But then again, she is some sort of either undead or necromancer type. So yeah. That's the Not Alive. And so next up we have the Thousand Faces cults, which are various types of beastmen. Some of them larger than others. Again, most are in 2 pieces. This box actually contained not just the Thousand Faces set, but also the mercenary miniatures that were stretch goals for the Kickstarter. And by the way, I can't tell you what these sets cost, but because these specific sets, these combinations of minis, were only available as sets on the Kickstarter. If you go to the Zenit Miniatures website, you can get a smaller starter set and you can buy individual minis. The prices are, well, they vary quite a lot, but mostly for a character mini, like something like this one, or, well, more like this one, you can expect to pay like €8 and the rulebook about €20. Anyway, for this set, I thought I'd show you the Jugger, the big model. This is the pieces for him. Each Jugger has a pilot. This is the pilot, I believe. Or maybe. Oh well. Anyway. Pretty big base, a lot of pieces, resin. The big section of it is resin, and his arms have these shields on them. They go on like this. So he has on one on each arm. We have the head. Ooh. Actually, there's an optional. I know this now that I looked on the Kickstarter page. It was a stretch goal. You got an optional head for the Jugger, and they made this one in metal. And then we have all these metal pieces. Where do they go? Well, they go on his back here. This is going to take some heavy-duty pinning, I believe, because on the first try, see these stick up like this. I think this one goes there, for example. And you can see, if you turn around, that you put the bigger pieces behind them. Well, I was able to fit them on there before when I wasn't on camera. It's kind of finicky to do in this way. Oh, also, this piece goes here. That's right. He's got a big stone dong. Well. And the proportions are kind of funny because, as you can see, he's got a huge chest and really tiny feet and tiny hands, proportional wise. So he looks very amusing. But anyway. That concludes my first look at the miniatures of this game. I'm going to need a couple of days to read through the rules and digest them, and I'll come back with another video about the rulebook, which looks like this. Until then, or until I put up some other video, this is Dakian, signing off.